The real estate regulator bill may finally get pushed through the winter session of the parliament as the Congress and TDP, Telugu Desam Party, have pledged to support the bill. This comes after an association of home buyers met with the government and the opposition last week in a bid to garner political support for the regulator. The association, which has members from across India, met with Urban Development Minister Venkaiah Naidu and a number of Congress and TDP leaders in the capital. My colleague Deepa Rana gets us more details.
Home buyers have done what the industry and politicians could not. They have compelled the opposition to join hands with the government and push for the Real Estate Regulation and Development Bill or the Real Estate Regulator Bill in this winter session. In fact, we have an exclusive copy of a letter that Digvijay Singh has written to the Prime Minister, urging and stressing that this bill is important and should be given top priority in the winter session of the Parliament. A Home Buyers Association had met Digvijay Singh and other leaders in Delhi, and Digvijay Singh has ensured his support for the bill. This bill will come as a big relief to home buyers and developers as it aims to check malpractices in the real estate sector and provide a redressal for the issues that the home buyers have with the developers. Also, remember, we had told you that the cabinet had approved the recommendations made by the Rajya Sabha Select Committee, and the committee had submitted its report on July 30. Now, an umbrella organization of home buyers from all across the country had come to Delhi and had camped here for 4 days. They met Congress's Digvijay Singh, they met Ghulam Nabi Azad, they met TDP leader Malla Reddy, JDU's Sharad Yadav, and all have come in support of the Real Estate Regulator Bill, and now the onus lies on the government, and let's see that if this bill is given top priority or not. But however, this bill has got approval from all the opposition parties, and let's see what happens now.
Deepa Rana there with the all-important piece of information. Fight for RERA, or Real Estate Regulatory Authority, is the big story here on Magic Bricks. Now, we've just been bringing you coverage ever since this Association of Home Buyers have been doing the rounds in the capital, trying to convince political leaders so there's a consensus, at least in this session of the parliament, the winter session of the parliament. Keep in mind, this bill was nowhere close to getting itself passed in the monsoon session. So the big hope and the fight is that this time around, this bill gets passed, the Real Estate Regulatory Authority bill, because it's all more crucial for people like you and me, the home buyer. And to discuss that further, we are being joined live all the way from our Delhi studios by Lieutenant General S.K. Bari, a member of the All India Movement of Home Buyers. Mr. Bari, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news on Magic Breaks. Now, you met with the government and the opposition leaders. How confident are you of the regulator bill being passed in this winter session of the parliament?
Well, we've been at it since 2012, and we've been meeting the previous government officials, and we've been assured all the time that this bill will be passed. But somehow or other, we are always ditched at the end. Last, we had a meeting in November last year, 2014, and we were told in that winter session that this bill will be put up to the cabinet. It wasn't put up to the cabinet. Then we were told that it will be passed in the next session. That also went dry. Now we hope, as the minister has assured us, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, we met him last week, and he said that try and get the other parties on board, the opposition people on board. So we did go and meet Mr. Sharad Yadav, who was member of the standing committee in the previous government, and we also met Mr. Kharge, leader of the House in the Lok Sabha, and Mr. Digvijay Singh. And we requested them all that please try and get this bill passed at the earliest, because lakhs of home buyers, that means about, if you take 5 people per head, there must be at least 2 lakh apartments which are lying halfway or delayed, and with the result that the people are suffering both by paying EMIs or paying rent in the existing houses. And they paid 90 to 95% of the cost of the apartment, and it's still not being delivered. I think the home buyers have been cheated for a long time, and now it's time for this government to see that this bill is passed at the earliest possible. We have done everything towards it, but what is surprising is that despite this bill having been passed
Yes.
in
Mr. Bari, I just want to check with you. Have you asked for any changes as far as this bill is concerned? You know, the way it exists right now, in your meetings with the politicians in Delhi, both the ruling and the opposition parties, have you asked for any changes in the final version of the bill that's going to be passed in the winter session of the Parliament?
Really, no, because we feel that whatever it is, whatever has been recommended by the Select Committee of the Rajya Sabha, that bill is adequate for the time being. If it has got some shortcomings, we will fight for them later. But right now, it must be brought about so that the builders stop taking the buyers for a ride.
Just want to understand.
And what is surprising is that in Gurgaon alone, there must be a few thousand people in the courts filing cases, and they're not getting anywhere. So with the regulatory authority coming in, there would be some relief for the home buyers.
Absolutely, there is no doubt about that, and this fight for RERA is crucial. Just want to understand, what else did you discuss with the ministers as far as the way, on behalf of home buyers in this country and their grievances, what else did you discuss with the ministers?
We told them that the builders have got deep pockets with money filled with our money, actually, and they are trying to delay it as much as possible because they use the money power all round, be it the bureaucrats or be it the politicians. And we want that to come to a stop in any which way.
And one of the ways that can come to a stop is if the real estate regulatory bill does get passed in this winter session of the Parliament. Lieutenant General S.K. Bari, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the news and throwing light on all the discussions you've had with all the powers that be in New Delhi.